everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Debbie Farinella and I'm on the creative design team at Sizzix. And with Valentine's Day coming up, I'm here to share with you a project I've created using our Chapter 1 die jar of flowers. It coordinates perfectly with the jar dimensional dome, and I look forward to getting you started. So to get us started on this card, I'm going to share with you just the different pieces that I use to create it. Using our cardstock, I've used our original set of cardstock. It's multiple colors, 20 colors in a pack, and 80 sheets total. So you get a great selection of this. And if you're familiar with our color story, you know that we have sequins and beads and glitters and markers and sculpting foam and felt, all sorts of things that coordinate with it, so you know that your project will come together beautifully and the tones will be accurate and match up perfectly with your project. The colors I've decided to use on this project is our primrose, the hibiscus, the Earl Grey, the mint julep, the ballet slipper, and the cherry blossom. These are great colors that would be any kind of perfect project for springtime, or you can use it in any of our colors and coordinate it with whatever season you're creating your project for. It could be Mother's Day, it could be anything for springtime, it could be birthday. Just choose the colors that you know would be something that the recipient would love, and it's a great project and great something that they would love to receive, I'm sure. So the die set that I've used is our jar of flowers. The jar of flowers comes with multiple thinlets and framelets. The great part about this is the framelit for the jar itself will create, once you cut it, the ring that will go around the exterior of your actual dimensional dome. So it fits perfectly, so you know that it's going to lay down perfectly. I put an adhesive sheet on the back of it, and it's going to adhere down to my project because it has an adhesive backing here. But this part will finish off the project when you're all done. So this comes with it when you cut this one, because the blade's on the outside and the inside. This die here, well, also when you cut this, you not only get the exterior, but you also get the inside. This is a piece I'm not going to be using in the project, but it's something perfect that you can have and hang on to for a future project. So that's something that cuts when you just cut this. If you don't want to use too much paper and you don't need to have the dimensional dome technique, this also comes with your die set and would cut out this one piece perfectly. So you get all this. You also get the phrase love and thanks. Now that comes in 3 different pieces. So the word love is separate, the word thanks is separate, and the ampersand is separate. So it's perfect. You can choose all words or you can just choose one. So this creates a great project, a great piece to die cut for any of your projects as a little sentiment on your card. You get the different stems, you get foliage, you get the handle for your jar, you get centers for your flowers. This could be an actual flower. And then you also get labels. So the label's a great little thing to add the sentiment to, whether you're going to rubber stamp it or die cut it and lay it on there, or just hand write their name on it, and adds a little personal touch to any of your projects. So I have all my pieces already cut. I have some of the flowers. So what I'd like to share with you are some of the flowers that I already cut. I want to make sure that I can add a little dimension to my project. So what I've done is I've pre-cut these pieces, and they're going to be ready for me to adhere to the card. So I just want to add a little dimension, and you just take your paper sculpting kit, and these are the different, you have different size balls, depends on which one you want. You can press hard, you can press lightly, you can go and press from the back side and just do the little bit of petals around there, and then go back on the other side and just do a little divot, and then that adds a little dimension to your project also. You can do it as much as you want, you could not do it at all. It depends on how much you want. You just have to keep in mind also, sometimes if you add too much dimension to a card, we all know, that adds a little bit of extra postage to your project. You want to make sure your recipient receives it on time, right? So I'm going to go ahead and with a little bit of our express glue, I'm going to add that to there. Let me unplug it. Our express glue is the best. It dries quickly and it leaves a shiny finish. So you know, even if you don't want a shiny finish on it, it kind of makes it a little fun to add a little bit of extra onto your project. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that down there on there like that. Shift that around. And then I'm going to take the die pick, actually the tweezers. So the tweezers are something that come in the paper sculpting kit. It's perfect. They have this release action, so when I squeeze it, it opens it, which is a reverse of what everybody's others tweezers use. So this is perfect if I want to go like this. Just tap it in. I always do a little puddle of glue and just put it in there like that. If I want to do something where, say I need you to step away for a second, you know it's going to stay put. So that's the beauty of that. I've also used our opulent ivory. This is our opulent ivory glitter paper. Our glitter paper comes in all different finishes: mirror, pearl, brushed metal, matte, all sorts of different finishes. So it adds a lot of dimension and a lot of texture to your project, which makes it a lot of fun. So I'm just going to do a few more little ones here. And this one, I will just put a single dot in the center. See if I can grasp it with my tweezers here. So you can double them up, triple them up, just add a little life to your flowers, and it makes it a lot of fun. And they're all different. You could do tone on tone, where you could do all the colors the same, or using all of the different opulent papers, do the gold with the gold glitter, and how great would that be? So I have some already set and ready to go. And what I want to do is I'm going to take my card base. My card base, I use the mint julep, the white, and the banana blast. White is just a basic white cardstock. Now I just want to position where I want it to be, and I'm not going to lay it down. I just want to know exactly where it's going to be. So I'm just going to do a little dot there, so I'll know where I want to have the stems to go. So the stems are also part of the die set. I had laid them on the Earl Grey paper on top of the adhesive sheets. So our adhesive sheets are a perfect product. It's part of making essentials. If you want to do something to make it already a sticker, go ahead, lay your paper on top of it, and then run it through. So especially for the word love that I have on my project, I want to make sure it's already a sticker, and so I don't have to worry about having a glue pen. Once I run it through, especially your intricate dies, it's perfect to have to make it a sticker already. So just going to position that to see where I want it to be. Lay that one down there like that. That's already sticker, so that's ready to go. I cut them out of mint julep, and I also cut them out of the Earl Grey. Some of them I did not do the adhesive backing, so I might need to add a little glue to that. And since it's such a thin die, I could go ahead and trim it afterwards at the top. I can just lift up the adhesive. And then peel that off like that. And using the sequins and beads or additional petals, it turns out so cute for a project for you to have the since it's shaker domes, it's a perfect little thing to have and a great thing for them to receive. You could put the glitter inside. I've combined the little shaker pieces with glitter and die cut hearts that came with this set. So you can mix it up and just coordinate it with whatever you choose for your project. And let me do one more, and this is, I believe, the one that doesn't have the adhesive backing, so put my own little adhesive on the back of this. I'm going to do them on top just to make sure I've got it in a good position. And however many stems you want to do. You guys are the personal flower arrangers, so you can do it however you'd like it to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I want to adhere my flowers to it. So I'm just going to play with it and just do it any which way. So whether you're going to be using hot glue or however you want to adhere it down, you could put foam tape on there also, which also creates a fun dimension to it. And that could be something you can add to the card itself, is foam tape behind each flower, behind certain stems. And that would be a great little project. They would love that. So I'll put that up there. And you could also use the heart. Now if you remember, the die set came with hearts inside, so you can also use, let me put that one there. You can also use a heart instead of flowers at the top. Just show how much you love and adore them. I'm just going to put all sorts of different ones on here. Even if there's not a stem, it's kind of nice to add one down there so it looks like it, you know, it just kind of makes it a little more full. I would love this attached to a gift. It can hang off of a card, off of a basket. Depends on what your tradition is for Valentine's Day. You could just have it as, this to me by itself is kind of a gift. It's such a pretty project that I don't think you need much, and they would appreciate the care that you put into it. Okay, let me put this down and make sure that's good. I actually need to lift this up a little bit. Make sure my jar can still stick down with all these beautiful flowers on there. I think this would be so pretty in colors. Say you're doing it for baby shower and you know it's a girl, you know it's a boy, just do the little baby tones. Would be such a cute project. Let me tuck this flower on top of that one. Okay, so now for the foliage. So remember what I had done for the sculpting the flowers? We have the same idea that you can do for your foliage. Oops, I think I have it upside down. The foliage, when you die cut this, you can see that the leaves themselves have an actual vein down the middle. It's not going to cut it, it's just going to score it. So if you want to add dimension and kind of have it coordinated with your flowers, you can take your finer point of the paper sculpting kit tool and just go along the groove of the vein of the leaf. Whether you're going to use this or just your nail, it's kind of a nice way to add dimension too. And you're just going to crease it up along the same lines as you just scored it down. And it'll give a dimension, and it can add to the dimension of your project. So using the same adhesive, I'm going to go ahead and just add a few pieces. Just tuck them in however you'd like them to go. Make it a little realistic. And if you like, you could actually even ink up these leaves if you want, or the flowers. It's up to you, but it just gives a little extra dimension to it with them in the background, and also lifting up a little bit. You could lift them up with the foam tape as well. There's all sorts of different sizes that come with the set. And the stems, I could do smaller stems too if I'd like. Kind of do your own little flower arranging there. So that's ready to go. Lift that up. Okay. So what I want to do next is I've gathered a few of our sequins and beads, and I've also cut some of the flowers that come in the die set and the hearts. So in the die set you get this little itty bitty heart and this tiny little flower with the flower center. So cutting those and using some of our sequins and beads. So this is from our festive range of sequins and beads. This is our cherry blossom. This is the sequins and beads ballet slippers. So there's tiny, tiny little hearts in here that are perfect to go inside. There's all sorts of bigger ones too, but they're kind of fun to add to the shaker domes. So that's that is the ballet slipper from the sequins and beads. That's a heart-shaped sequin. And then this is the cherry blossom bead. So I've got a little bit of everything using all sorts of different colors. So what I want to do first is get them all in a pile in my hand. Get these off to the side. And I'm just going to put them down there in the center of my card, just where the stems are. And I'm going to weigh it down so they don't go bouncing around. So what is great about the dimensional dome is there's an adhesive here. It's an adhesive ring around the dome. So I'm going to take my pointy tool here, or my nail. this is the adhesive to keep your beads and sequins or whatever's shaking around in there, keep them put. So once you know where it's going to go, move that there off to the side. Bring that up there like that. Now, I don't want to assume that it's all down and I bared down hard enough. I'm going to take my tool from my paper sculpting kit. I'm just going to go around there like that, just to be sure, because nothing's worse than them receiving it and all the beads and sequins are at the bottom and inside the envelope instead of inside the shaker, because you want them to have fun shaking it, right? Okay, so that's perfect. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add my ring. So the ring is the piece that when I cut the framelit itself, I'm able to peel this back because I put the adhesive backing on it. So this is a sticker. And I know that this is going to go perfectly around the dome. I'm going to lift up that flower that is kind of in the way. And I'm going to do the same thing with this just to make sure it stays put. And it finishes it off perfectly and lets you know that it's got the finished look on it. I'm going to do a little bit of glue here because I want to add a couple leaves on the outside of my dome. A little bit there. Tap it off a little bit. I'm just going to bend it so it kind of goes around the base of it there. It'd be fun to add a couple leaves inside of the shaker dome also. So that's how this looks already so far, which is fun. But let's finish it off with the little sentiment on the little label. So I've gone ahead and I cut the word love. Remember, it came with the love and thanks. I cut it, but I also cut it with adhesive backing, so it's already a sticker. Then I went ahead and I cut the label. So here's the label that also comes with the set. I went ahead, cut that, and just with a basic hole punch, I just punched a little hole on there. Put the word love down. You can put it in an angle if you like, or you can just lay it right there on top. Center it. A couple other ways that you could do the label also is you could run it through, and when you run it through the Big Shot machine or your Sidekick or whichever one you have, you can lay it down like that, run it through, and it'll cut the hole and the heart and the label in one pass. So that's a great way to do it. It doesn't leave much room to write, but you could still write above or below. So that's a cute way to do it. So I'm just going to take some basic twine, fold it in half, and then I'm going to do a slip knot. Slip knot, for those of you that might not remember from back in your Girl Scout days, is you just, or home ec, you just run it through the loop and then bring the two tails back through like that. And there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of glue on my die pick. I'm just going to lay it down there just a little bit because I want to make sure that my twine sticks down in most areas. Wipe off the excess. Oops. And I'm going to go ahead, get that glue out of the way. I don't want to ruin my card. And position it however you want it to be, whether it's off to the side or down the center. Put a little bit of glue in there. And you can just scrape it off as it dries. If you have any excess and you want to you could just go ahead and tuck it under, which I think I might do because the glue might take too long to dry on here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to tuck it underneath the blue label there. Just got it. My slip knot slipping. Let me finish off this since it's decided to unravel. Not deciding to cooperate. So what I'm going to do is I will, just for the sake of time, take my tape runner, add a little adhesive to the back of this. Tuck it under a leaf. I hope you enjoyed the project. Thanks so much for joining us. If you have any questions or you want some more inspiration, you could go on over to our website, sizzix.co.uk or sizzix.com, and find all sorts of inspiration using the jar of flowers and the dimensional jar dome. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.